So I talked about this last week. This is the Mythic Legion's Beyithirr. 2 weeks ago, or I should say on the previous Figure Lowdown, that was more of like a preemptive. This is before it went up for pre-order, kind of like what to expect and the information I had at the time. But now, since then, it's gone up. It's up for pre-order. This is a crowdfund project, a crowdfunded figure that they're doing. And this went up March 7th, so last week, and it's only going for a month. As of right now, it's only going for a month long, and they said they weren't going to extend that, so collectors only have that month. It will end on April 6th, 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern time. Wait, did I get that right? No, sorry, that should be 8 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific. So yeah, just keep a lookout. Let's go off of 11 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, it's on their website. All this information's on there. Like I said, I'll link that in the description below, so you guys can go jump on their website. This will only be sold through their website. So there's been multiple streams on this from Four Horsemen themselves and some other people who've also been working on the project or who are kind of related. And so there's been, throughout all the streams, there's been some information kind of spread out. And so I did my best to kind of summarize, and I'll do my best to kind of do that here and give you all the info that I've heard and that I've come across in listening to those streams and kind of from what I'm reading here. So that's kind of the whole point of this part of it, is just to kind of summarize for you all and make it easier. So I may even just clip this out and do it as a separate video for those who just want to reference this. So, all right, here we go. So there's the base dragon. So the base dragon by itself is 550 USD is what they're aiming for. They need 2,000 units to get this into production, right? So that's, again, this is crowdfunding. That's what they're going for, 550 USD. And they've said on numerous streams that they did the best they could to lower it down. So the way they set up this whole crowdfunding, the different parts and the aspects of it are so that they can make it as minimal as they can. So all the decisions they made is so they can get this as affordable as they can for collectors, because this is a huge piece, right? This is a huge dragon. It's like over 31 inches long, or it can be, right? If you extend the tail from the nose to the tail, it could be up to, I think, like over 24 inches high, I believe it was. I forgot. I need to get the measurements there. But the wingspan alone is over 48 inches as well, if you have like the spread out wings. So it's a big figure overall. So the dragon itself, 2,000 units needed, 550 USD, and that comes with everything you see here on the left, right? So you have the folded wings, that head with the neck, and that the tail. So there's 50 points of articulation in the dragon itself. It's going to have ratcheted wings and legs because, again, it's going to be a heavy figure. So they wanted to make sure that the legs and the wings kind of stayed in the poses they have, and the legs can support the body. So those are going to be ratcheted. They did show off the articulation in one of their videos recently, which I will also put in the description below for you to reference. They kind of had some early test parts printed out, and to kind of see how the articulation is going to work. So those two things for sure are going to be ratcheted. The wings and the legs I know of. I'm not sure about anything else is going to be ratcheted, but they did test the articulation and everything else to kind of show what that's going to look like on the early models. The tail itself is going to have 17 points of articulation. So let me see if I can zoom in on. I'll bring in another photo here. I don't here. Okay, so I'll just kind of zoom in here. So each of the tail points is going to have about 17 segmented pieces here, from the base of the body all the way down to the very, about like right here, about 1 inch out from the end of the tail. So about up to here, there's 17 different segments there you can articulate. Then this final last 12 inches, that's going to be a bendable tail piece there. So that's going to be like a bendy wire there at the end, which I think is really cool. The head here on this is going to have an articulated jaw. So this jaw is going to have, it's going to articulate so you can have it mouth open or closed. Again, which is awesome. That's the included base head. And then the dragon itself is going to be about 30 to 35 pounds. So it's going to be heavy. I bring that up because shipping has been a big concern so far. I know I mentioned that in my previous Figure Lowdown episode. Not only is this going to be big, it's going to be heavy. So shipping is definitely going to be a consideration you're going to have to take into account. And again, they showed videos and photos of this box of they have an idea of what the box is going to be like. And it's going to be big. So just keep that in mind. Again, this is just for the base dragon. So it's going to be huge. Shipping is going to be up there. But again, they wanted to sell it directly from their site, because that's going to offer the least amount of shipping expenses. Whereas if like they crowdfunded it, for instance, or if they ended up having some sort of official distributor or retailer, then they would have to pay for shipping to those retailers, right? And then they're probably going to incorporate that in the price, and then they would have to ship it to you, the end user. So it's just, they try to cut out the middleman basically, and bring those costs down as much as possible. They did, however, offer a local pickup option. They're based in New Jersey, and so for those of you who live close in the area and you want to pick this up, that's an option. So free of charge, right? You can go and pick it up locally. However, it's only at designated times that they'll kind of designate later on when it's time to pick up. And you can only pick up after everyone else's, all the other dragons have shipped out to the people who paid for shipping. Those are all going to ship out first, and whatever's left, then they're going to allow people to go and pick up in person at their New Jersey warehouse, I believe, or their New Jersey location. So that is an option. Also note that that is a default option. So if you go to their website and order this, and you just kind of click through, and you don't pay attention to the shipping, or you see, oh, free shipping, I'm going to select that. Again, that's only for local pickup. Is free ship or zero shipping, right? Because they're not shipping it. So you kind of have to look and pay attention to see what shipping options are on there. If you do accidentally select free shipping and you can't pick it up at the designated times that they set later on, they will then charge you a shipping fee to ship it out, and like some what do they call it? Like a retaining type of percentage for holding the item, because they had held it for you, and it's just like, I forgot, like a stocking fee, I think, because it was a stocking fee. So they'll charge you that in addition to the shipping fee if you do select pick up and then you don't go pick it up. So just be wary of that. I just say that for those who may not be paying attention. So make sure you pay attention to that. All right. So the wing will rotate around. They showed that, and it will have a disc hinge that can kind of fold up and down. So it will have those types of articulation. Like I said, that'll be ratcheted, the hinge portion of it, so it'll stay in place. All right, so that's the base dragon here, and then you have some tiers. You have some unlocked stretch goals, right? So at let's see where we at 2,500 units. So again, the dragon itself needs 2,000. At 2,500 units, you will unlock who they call Sir Benegar. That's this knight here, and that's the base knight. Let me swap tabs here. So this knight here will come included free of charge, right? It'll just be thrown in with the price if you get to 2,500 units, and this is all that will unlock at 2,500. So the figure itself with the sword and the sheath. So that's at 2,500. And then if let's see here, if you get to 3,000 units, you will unlock the upgrade set for this figure, which is everything you see here. So in addition to the figure, you will get a broadsword with the scabbard, the dragon sigil that attaches to a shield, the dagger lance, an extra head, an unhelmeted head you can see there in the chainmail, and soft goods tunic and the cape, right, which will be wired. The cape will be wired. I'm not sure about the tunic, right, but that will all be included on the upgrade set, which is unlocked at 3,000 units. And they did say that the helmet and the pauldrons for this figure are new sculpts that are will be first introduced for this figure specifically. And I did ask on their Facebook post if there are any plans to maybe do like a variant of this figure later on, or because how figures in Mythic Legions have done them themselves, right? They kind of will put out a figure and they'll put out like a variant, like in a different color, or like they'll kind of change some design and resell it later. Because they're advertising this is exclusive to this set. So I asked them, well, will this be available in a variant later on? And they said, well, maybe not in this deco specifically, but they may reuse some parts, either maybe the helmet or the pauldrons or some other pieces later on. So that was kind of, I think a roundabout way of saying yes, they probably will have this figure later on in some fashion or another. It may not have the same pauldrons or the same helmet. But yeah, so just keep that in mind, right? It may not be in this color and green. They may switch it up somehow. So that could be a possibility out there for those of you wondering. All right. And then at 4,000 units, so if they sell 4,000 units, again, this is just a base dragon, you will unlock this Ashen Skeleton here. This is locked at, This is unlocked at 3,500 units. So 3,500 units will unlock just the base skeleton with the sword, right? And that's all you get. And then at 4,000 units, you'll unlock everything you see here, which is the 2 additional heads, the orc head, the vampire head, an extra set of hands, the spear, and let's see here, the shield. I don't see the spear there. Maybe I'm missing it. Oh yeah, there it is. That's part of it. There we go. Right here. So everything here is in the upgrade set. So again, this is base Ashen figures at 3,500. Upgrade set here's at 4,000. And so far, those are the stretch goals I have. That's, let's see, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4 stretch goals that they have, and they don't have anything yet above 4,000. So that's where they're sitting so far. So I know I kind of did a lot of information, a lot of talking. I'll pause there for a minute. There's other stuff I'm going to go over, but do you guys have any questions on anything that I showed so far, Mike or Phil the Burn?
Yeah. Some corrections. There is another tier, if I'm correct. I saw a video showcasing this figure.
Yes, I'll get to that. I'm not done yet. But wait, there's more.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you were done. All right. Well, you asked for.
No.
Okay. Well, now I'll let you finish.
No, that's just on stuff that I've discussed so far. Like this is all just a base figure and their tiers. Okay. There are 2 other crowdfunded pieces to this, and I'll get that. But okay. I mean, just like on what I've discussed so far.
Okay. Well,
anything on that?
Then I was going to talk about this figure with the all of the accessories in mind. So why don't you go ahead and continue, or Phil the Burn, and then I'll put in my 2 cents in after you're done.
Got it. All right. Sounds good. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Didn't want to hog up all the glory there.
No, not that. I mean, the fact that I know you know the other tier, I'd rather wait for you to introduce that, and then because one of the reasons, I'll talk about it after you do it. It'll make sense. It'll make sense.
Gotcha. Understood. All right. Okay. So, going back here. So, like I mentioned, that was just a base dragon. I say that because in addition to, as part of this, there are 2 other crowd-funded aspects to this, right, that are not included with the base dragon. So I already went over what the base dragon is and all the multiple stretch goals for that. So now what we have here is the Fiery Breath add-on set, right? Again, this is its own crowdfund goal, right? This has its own minimum with its own stretch goal. So this is separate from the base dragon. This is not included, and you can't like buy it as like if you think of a Kickstarter, right? Usually when you back a project, you can then include what they call add-ons, right, for an additional cost. You can't do that with this. This is a completely separate like crowdfund item. So this is a Fiery Breath add-on set. This is $150 USD, and this is unlocked. They need 1,000 units of just this to go into production, right? So if they get under that, then obviously they won't proceed with this. They need 1,000 units to get this in production. And again, this is, because this is separate, you can only just buy this add-on set here, right? This is, so if you don't want the base dragon and you just want to get this, what I'm going to show you here, then that's an option as well. So just keep that in mind. So it unlocks at 1,000, and this includes the base portion of this this portion. This Fiery Breath add-on set comes with this, starting at the neck right here, right? So can you see my area? Yeah, my mouse. All this long neck part, and this open mouth head sculpt, and this fire effect, and the base fire effect here, and the tongue, right? So that's that, and then the base figure here, which I'll touch on in a little bit. So those items will come included in this Fiery Breath add-on set. The mouth, the jaw on this head is not articulated, right? They made it specifically to add this fire breath effect in there, and that is swappable with the tongue. So you can see the tongue here. You can swap out the tongue. So you have 2 display options. If you don't want him breathing fire, then you can put the tongue in there instead. So you can do that. And this head is supposed to be swappable with the other neck, right? The base neck here. Those 2 head sculpts are supposed to be interchangeable, and of course you can swap out the long neck piece on the body for either one. However, the fire breath effect is not, you can't put that in this, the base head. even though you can open and close the jaw here on this head sculpt, you can't insert the fire effect because the tongue is not removable on this. So just keep that in mind. I mean, technically, if you want to jam it in there or cut out the tongue, then I guess you could force it in there, but it's not made to do that. So just, yeah, keep that in mind. It will only, out of the box, it'll only connect into this head sculpt here. And I mentioned the fire base here is included, right? That kind of goes down underneath this fire effect, the tongue. And so then this base figure here is also included as part of this $150 set of this Burning Night. Let me swap over to that. Here we go. So this is the base Burning Night figure here that is also included in part of that 1000 unlock. It comes with that flaming sword, the 3 interchangeable head sculpts, and then the 2 pairs of hands. And this will come in, all the figures that are part of this set or that will be unlocked, they come in their own box too, right? So they're not going to come like just packaged next to the figure, like the dragon, like in a separate foam cutout or whatever it is. It's going to come in its own separate box. So if you wanted to just sell those separately as, you know, as is, you can do that. It's going to have its own artwork and things like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. So this is the base again. This dragon head sculpt, this additional dragon breathing set, the tongue, this base fire, and the base figure are unlocked at 1,000, and that's all $150. So again, this has its own stretch goals, and this is kind of showing an up close look at some of the head sculpts here. So this has, like I said, it has its own stretch goals. So if this reaches, yeah, I know, sorry, it's a lot. If this reaches 1,250 units, so 1,250 units, then this Burning Night upgrade set will be unlocked. And so that's everything you see here, the interchangeable bottom half of the feet, the fire feet, another set of 2 more additional hands, and then you have these gauntlets, these gloves, interchangeable fiery glove hands, another pair of feet, and the shield. Right, and then another skeleton head sculpt in chainmail, which they show here. Right, so this is the what you unlock at 1,250 units. And then this is the overall set with all the upgrade pieces here. And for comparison, the base figure, again, comes with just like the metal-looking hands and the metal-looking feet that you can see down there. That's part of his armor. And then the upgrade set is the fiery feet and the fiery gloves. So that was, again, separate for the Fiery Breath add-on set. Okay, so the third aspect, here we go. We're not done yet, folks. I know it's a lot, right? So the third aspect, crowdfunded piece to this is, where are we at here? Let me go back. Is the Epic Wings add-on set. Again, this is its own separate crowdfund, also $150. And this is the expanded wings I was talking about, that each wing is like 24 inches in length, right? So that's going to be over like 4 feet altogether on the dragon wingspan, if you include the body. And so this allows more for like that flying look, right? So the base set of this will have the wings and that ashen skeleton, or not, sorry, just the ashen figure, not a skeleton. It's the ashen figure that's included in the base. Let's see here. 1,000, same thing, 1,000 units to unlock, 150 USD. And the figure, that ashen figure, the base figure just comes with the staff. Let me go to a photo of that here. Let me zoom in here. Here we go. Right, so it will come with that staff, and I think it comes with this shield as well. So this will be the base ashen figure that comes included with the Epic Wings send. Again, if you just want to buy the wings for whatever reason, just to get this figure, probably you can do that. You don't have to buy the dragon. You don't have to buy the Fiery Breath set. If you just want to get this for this figure or the wings, again, for whatever reason you want to have those, you can do that. So you kind of pick and choose. There's like a la carte options here. So that's 1,000 units. At 1,250, so 1,250 units, you unlock the upgrade set for this ashen figure, which is, let's see here. Did I pass it? Let's see here. So I guess maybe I don't have a photo of everything here, but you unlock 2 additional heads, zombie heads, an extra set of hands, the sword and the shield. So, okay, yeah, so the sword and the shield are part of the upgrade set. The different head sculpts two different head sculpts. So the base figure just comes with, like I was saying, the staff here that he's holding here on his left hand, and the one head sculpt here. I'm trying to see if I can find a photo. I have to go back to this photo here and zoom in. So yeah, so this looks to be the base figure here, the staff with this broken jaw. I think that's the base figure, and these two additional head sculpts here on the bottom. All this stuff is part of the upgrade set, and that's unlocked at $12.50. And again, all these are all on Four Horsemen's Facebook page, right? I know I don't expect everyone to memorize it, but this information is out there. Again, I'm just summarizing it here to kind of consolidate everything. And so yeah, that was all the tiers, all the sets. I know it's a lot. I've seen some of the questions, and some collectors speaking up saying, like, why don't you just include the wings, make the wings and the alternate head sculpt with the fire breath effect as part of stretch goals. And then Four Horsemen did address that, saying that, you know, those pieces by themselves are already expensive, so it wasn't feasible to add them in there, because then I'll just drive up the cost of the base dragon, and then of course that'll increase the cost of shipping. And so they just reiterated, you know, they didn't include them at first because they wanted to make the base dragon as affordable as possible, right? They increase that other stuff. If they add that other stuff, they're going to have to increase the price and the shipping on those items. And so I've seen that question. One question that came up for me, that I just realized recently that I wasn't aware on my last figure lowdown, that I was going to bring up as a thought, but, you know, I kind of had more insight into it, was that if you read on Four Horsemen's website for, you know, the Order of Beyithirr, this dragon, they do mention the 5 pillars of the old world. I think it says, and Beyithirr is supposed to be one of those pillars, implying that there's still possibly going to be 4 other pillars, right? 4 other dragons, it seems like. So they said dragons that were considered pillars of the old world. So then the question comes in is, like, are they going to do other dragons in the future? And if they are they going to be crowdfunded? Are they just going to kind of be variants of this dragon? I don't know. I asked that questions on a couple of the posts. They have yet to respond to that question specifically. So hopefully they're not ducking me. Hopefully I'll give them some time to see if they address it. But, you know, I understand they want to get this funded first. I know that has come up before. You know, they all want to get this funded because this has been their dream project. And I know a lot of Mythic Legion's hardcore fans are already in on this. But, you know, for everyone else who's kind of more of like a casual collector of Mythic Legions, like myself, and who may only want one dragon, you know, this is a big purchase, and it's in itself. And so if I'm aware that there's going to be other dragons, you know, I'll definitely want to know that ahead of time so I can hold off and wait and see what those dragons look like. Because, you know, again, the description for this dragon saying that he's like the pillar of the west, the warden of the wood, kind of implying like they might be elemental dragons, right? So this is like the wood dragon, quote unquote. There might be a fire dragon, a water dragon, or, you know, again, there's like 5 pillars total, possibly 5 dragons. Kind of similar to McFarlane did his dragons, right? He had one for different aspects. You know, there's like the sea dragon, the water dragon. So I think as collectors, we should know that, because again, this is a big purchase. If we only plan on buying one dragon, I think we should know if they have plans for that. And again, you know, Four Horsemen, you know, they're not really entitled to say, they don't have to tell us, right? They can kind of keep quiet about it because they have their own agenda to kind of get this funded, which I understand. But so far they've been pretty transparent about this whole process, right? So I would think if they want to be consistent with that transparency and being open about it, they would share that information. Because how many of us as collectors, right? Hot Toys, Marvel Legends or whatever, how many of us would have liked to have known that they were going to do another version of a figure that we wanted, and we would have held out for that one, right? And those figures, they don't tell us either, right? Hot Toys doesn't come out and say, hey, we plan on doing this version of this figure in the future, or we're going to 2.0 this. So from that regard, as a business aspect, I get it. You know, they don't have to tell us. But Four Horsemen's already kind of been open about some of this stuff. So I would hope that if they know that they're going to make other dragons, or they have an idea, that they would tell us. So that way, you know, again, that we could be aware. But I don't know. Yeah, so I'll kind of hold there. I'll bring that topic up again if you guys get your thoughts. But any of the figures that we discussed so far in the dragon itself, I'll turn it to you guys and get your thoughts on that first. Mike, go ahead. You were going to say about one of these figures?
Well, first of all, I did see a video of this being not so much unboxed, but being revealed and shown. This thing is massive. Holy! And if you got like a vehicle, I don't mean a McFarlane, but I'm talking about the Jazz Inc. So I don't even think you're gonna. This thing is freaking huge. The price. I look at this thing and I compare it to like a HasLab. And when I look at this thing and I look at HasLab, this thing is really got value. I mean, wow! I dig dragons. I have no room for this monster. But boy, is it! I think it's really worth it. And then the other thing is, I think this thing is more suited for statue collectors, because the real estate it eats up is incredible, especially if you put these accessories. If you put that stream of flame, I think is 2 feet by itself.
Yeah.
Where are you going to display it if you put that? My God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and the other thing I heard, the Ash figure, and I'm not sure if it pertains to all of them, but I'm pretty sure that Ash figure, once all of this stuff is sold, it definitely gets destroyed, never made again. So there's another aspect to this thing too. That and I think maybe more than him, but there's at least one figure I heard them say, no, that's going to get destroyed. It'll never be made again. So, and then of course some companies will tell you that, and 2.0 to come out. But
yeah,
but this company right here, Mythic Legion, their fan base is rock solid. Rock solid. This is a great company too.
Yeah.
This company doesn't joke around. So I would really love to get it, because I dig dragons, and I could put it in all kinds of fantasy dioramas, but I just don't have the space. But the price, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, and just kind of adding it all up, right? So if you were to go all in, right, you get the base dragon, $550 USD, and both add-on sets, so the wings and that fiery breath set, that's $150 a piece. All that together is $850, right? That's just for the products themselves, and then you tack on shipping that they're going to be shipped in 3 separate boxes, right? Each is going to have its own box. So you're going to have shipping on top of that. You're probably looking at close to, and tax where applicable, that could be close to over $1,000 or $1,000.
Yeah.
That statue collectors throw that kind of change around all the time. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But for them, I would venture to guess that, this would be a good value.
Yeah. Yeah, and to touch on what you mentioned, Mythic Legions, they do a great job. I'm a fan. I have some of their other stuff too. I have a lot of their figures actually, and so I kind of pick and choose. I wouldn't say I'm hardcore. I know there's probably some definitely more hardcore fans out there. They have their dedicated fans, than I am. But they do great work on their figures. And this dragon looks great. Like I said last time, my previous stream, this looks great. The sculpt is great on here. Yeah. Joker J. Speaking of, thank you for joining us, Joker J. Hopefully you're doing well. He says paint apps are on point. Yeah, man. On this prototype, the paint apps on this look great. The sculpt looks great. This dragon just looks badass overall. And
do you know the other advantage for particularly like statue collectors is that you got something that's massive, but it still articulates.
Yeah, exactly. And they kind of pointed that out too on their streams, the Four Horsemen. They're like, if you wanted to, you can just set it as your centerpiece, or you can display it multiple different ways depending on the sets you get. But yeah, man, this looks great. And I had mentioned I already had a spot where it was going to go.
Oh, you're going to get it?
Well, initially, I was thinking about it. But then, like I said, when I found out recently that there's potentially other dragons that could come out, right? Again, they haven't responded to my comment on their post, so I don't know. So for now, I'm gonna presume that they are gonna come out with other, just the way like some of the things are worded on their site.
Yeah.
Because I would hate to buy this, right? Thinking like initially I thought this was, the dragon they were gonna do for a while, but once I read more into it, and it seems like there could be, yeah.
Are you insane?
No, I'm just thinking smart, man. You should know. Being patient, right? Patient pays off. Patience pays off.
Why do you need a whole line? Just having this is an art piece alone. This could be the centerpiece of anybody's collection. It doesn't even need 2, 3, 4, 5 other iterations. I mean, just for the sculpt and everything is as an art piece. So you mean to tell me you got room for like 7 more of these?
Oh, no, good sir. Yeah, so you're not hearing me. Man. So what I'm saying is, I would hate to buy this one, and then if they do in fact make other ones,
you would be
like
tempted.
One that I would have preferred. Yeah, one I would have preferred to have waited for. I would have got that one. So that's what I'm saying. Like earlier, my example was like, how many of us have bought like some other figure, like a Hot Toys, for example. Gotcha. I'll use like the Chrome, like the Mandalorian, right, from Hot Toys, where they came out with like the initial version. They then came out with like the Beskar. Then they came out with the Chrome version. Had we had known that they would have done the Chrome version, I'm sure some collectors would have waited. And I followed that up with
Got a question.
Yep.
If this was the only one they were going to put out, would you get it?
Yes. If it was the only one and I knew that, then yeah, I would get this.
Okay,
but there's just too many other factors.
Stop leaning on what you know. Because guess what?
Yeah.
While you're waiting to see whether or not other ones could come out, a bus could kill you tomorrow.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
So why are you anticipating? Why are you anticipating something that doesn't even exist?
You can apply that to anything. You can apply that to you getting Mantis, right? Why wait to get Mantis? You can get her today if you wanted. Right? It applies to any figure. No.
Don't even try.
It applies. It applies the same.
I'm not waiting to get Mantis because I think they're going to come out with 19 variants of it. I'll get that.
No, but you're waiting for the price to lower, right? On Mantis before you get it.
Nothing to do with the figure itself. We're talking figure. We're talking having.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yep. So I'm waiting to see if they come out with other dragons, right? Because if that other dragon that they come out with is better, in my opinion, than this one, then I'd want to get that one.
And then 5 years from now, when it still hasn't come out, and this figure is still going up in value, Fiji's like, well, I just have to wait a 6th year. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's something I have to consider. You're right. That's something a lot of us consider. Do we wait? Either in your case, do we wait for the price to drop, or do we wait for another version to come out, or do we just buy it now and enjoy it while we can? You're right. That's the decision that I make for some of the figures that I buy.
Another quick question. So are you telling me that is this something that is already out, like, or this is something an IP that Mythic Legions has created, correct? This is not coming from okay, so. So you're not familiar with any other dragons? Like there's another dragon of this lore that looks this color. You're just thinking, well, they may come out with a dragon. I'll go, wow, that color scheme and everything looks so damn cool. I should have waited for that.
Exactly.
Okay, I understand. Exactly. I understand because it would be like waiting for another kind of paint job on a Maserati or whatever. So I don't see what other color schemes they come out with before I buy this one. I understand that. Okay.
Yeah, kind of like the your Batfleck situation, right? Like if you didn't know about the 2.0 and you wanted to get a Batfleck, would your thought process, like it's something similar, right? If someone was in your position, I'm going to wait to see what Hot Toys comes out with, and then they come out with this 2.0. Now you're waiting for that one, and that's your Batfleck that you want above all others, right?
Well, the only reason why I say that's different is because the only thing that was stopping me from getting Batfleck is that I decided I wasn't sure I wanted to buy a used one from somebody.
Gotcha.
So I had no choice but to wait. And then when Hot Toys dropped that 2.0, I went, Well, it looks better than the first one because the first one is Kyle. He looks like he's got a bird's beak. This one, this one,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, this one,
that's one, right.
And you know,
no, that's where I'm at, right? Because like before you knew about that Batfleck, that 2.0, right? That you were just kind of working off the options you had. But now this better one comes along, this 2.0, and you're like, oh damn.
I had none.
Yeah. You don't have. What do you mean? You don't want any of the Batflecks before that?
There was nothing. There was nothing out there that I was gonna. Dude, BVS Batfleck is harder to find. You can find a million Bales.
Yeah.
In the aftermarket, you can find Christian Bale, Batman all day long. Try and find that BVS and not pay for it.
Right.
Try.
Yeah.
You find a cheap BVS, please let me know.
I haven't been looking, but yeah, if anyone knows one, hit up.
I changed
action figure.
I don't like the cow.
Oh, see, there you go. Yeah. No, so that's where my mindset is right now, right? If this is good, but if they come out like the equivalent of a Batfleck 2.0 for a dragon form, then I would want that one. I don't know what that is yet, but I'm just saying it's a possibility. And you're right. I could be waiting a while. They may not even do another one. In which case, yeah, then I'll have myself to blame if I don't get this. But I know, again, that's on me. That's a decision I have to make, as just like all the other collectors who are thinking about this as well. So, and they could go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say, it kind of reminds me of when I got my Mondo Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's like, now they're coming out with this new one that's seamless. So I'm just kind of like, oh, great. Now I got to try and sell this one. And it's just, it frustrates me sometimes when that happens. Yeah,
exactly. And that's exactly what I'm trying to avoid, and why I asked, Four Horsemen on their post. I posed that I commented on their post with that question. Do they plan on making other dragons? Are they going to be crowdfunded as well? Because I had posted that and someone else had commented, they could, which is a possibility, right? That they could do this. They could just reuse the same body, but just mold different wings, a different head sculpt, some other aspects of the dragon, but reuse some parts. So yeah, that's a possibility too, and just do a different color scheme. And then the question is, are they going to still crowdfund that part of it, or are they just going to not crowdfund it and just make it, just regular production, but they lower the price, right? Because if they do that, it's going to then obviously be cheaper than this one, because they're reusing some parts, and then I'll save some money if I, for one, like that other dragon better, and if it's cheaper. So there's a lot of what ifs, I know, but again, I'm just talking out loud, discussing with my panel here and kind of sharing that information with you all to kind of help you consider, because this is a big purchase, man. It's a lot of money, and like I mentioned before, not everyone is gonna be getting them all if they do make more. I just need one dragon, and I want to make sure, to Michael's analogy, if I get one car, I want to make sure it's that one car that I really want. I'm not just gonna blow, the money for the dragon. I could have waited to get another one. So yeah, that's just me. I'm just talking out loud, like I said, and sharing my thoughts and opinions on this. I know a lot of people may not agree with me, and they're all in anyways. Again, more power to you. No shade. I'm not taking anything away from this, because this looks badass. It looks awesome. Yeah, again, the sculpt, the paint, the prototype, the figures alone. If anything, I may just get this right here, this Fiery Breath add-on set, to have this as like, some people are suggesting that they could add this to a diorama, just like the neck, the head, and the Fire Breath set, and of course get the figure. Yeah, that's something I can see myself potentially doing just for photos and stuff. That's a good option as well. Yeah. So that's $150 for that. I mean, that's a little more doable there, and we'll see. But there's a lot to consider here. This is a big item. Like I said, it's only sold on the Four Horsemen website. I'll put a link in the description afterwards. You have until April 7th, like I said, is when the crowdfund ends. Oh, another thing that's important, unlike Kickstarter, you have to pay up front for this, because again, they're not using Kickstarter. This is directly through Four Horsemen. You have to pay up front for this, and if it doesn't get funded, anything that doesn't get funded, they'll just refund you what you paid. They do offer the shop pay in 4, so that's an option. I haven't used that at all, but that's only for U.S. customers. So U.S. customers can select that option, and all sales are final. So if you buy it, the only way you get your refund is if it's not funded, if it doesn't go into production. But if you change your mind, it seems like you can get your money back. So just keep that in mind, and even more reason to kind of, make an informed decision, kind of really think about this before you pull the trigger.